All wings report in.
HouseDog, standing by.
MotherGoose, standing by.
Lowtech Tuck, standing by.
Lock S-foils in attack position. Animal Squadron ready for battle.
Well, hello there, and welcome back to the Animal Squadron podcast. I'm one of your hosts, HouseDog, and with me, as always, he's been there through thick and thin. He started the show with me. He's ending the show with me. That's right, surprise, it's the last episode ever of Animal Squadron.
No more Animal Squadron.
We decided that 113 was enough, and I didn't even finish introducing you. See, look at that, 113 episodes in, and I still don't have it down. It's MotherGoose.
Hello, everybody. Don't worry, it's the last episode. Forget about me.
I do think that I deserve a break. I missed like 50 episodes there. So,
yeah, you deserve some slack.
Yeah, some slack.
Yeah, exactly. Well, today we are reviewing Skeleton
Episode
Crew,
4.
Season 4, Season 1, Episode 4. And it's really consistent. Every other week, I feel like I remember to double-check the title. I think this one is Can't Say I Remember No Attin.
Sure. The budget for this show is so low, folks.
That is the truth. It technically is... I mean, it's zero. Yeah, Can't Say I Remember No Attin. That's the episode name.
Can the budget go lower? Can we be in the negatives?
Yeah. Audience, why don't we pay you to listen to us?
Hold on. I think we just discovered a strat.
This is the way.
Pay people to listen until we get a big enough following that we don't have to pay people anymore.
Yeah, what are they going to do when the money stops, though?
Exactly. It'll be too late by that point.
They'll be too invested with us, our lives.
You see, I'm taking the cryptocurrency model and applying it to a podcast.
Should we sell the rights to every single episode to like different audience members? Could be a collect them all kind of scenario.
We did have that one offer on the show like 2 years ago.
That is true. I'm still pretty sure it was a scam, but you know what? It was an offer.
It was an offer. How much did they even want for the show? Did they say?
I don't think so. I think they just said, cool show, we want you. But, I mean, everyone wants me because I'm so hot and sexy, so I get
That's
it.
right. They found out that you were on there.
Yeah.
They found your TikToks from 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest is history. I don't even remember. Didn't they want us to sell our show to them to be on their network?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, basically just sell the rights to Animal Squadron.
We would never. We have integrity.
I mean, never say never.
Maybe I'll sell pictures of my feet, but not the show.
Not the show, never the show. If I get one more notification on my computer during this recording, I will lose my mind.
Okay, so let's get into the episode. I've got kind of mixed feelings about this one. There's some moments that I really loved and some moments that I really hated. What did you think?
At first, I was kind of nervous for this episode because it's just a hard open.
Yeah.
Like, we're in the episode, and Jod's like, it's at Attin, and all the kids are convinced that we're at Attin.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it's already over. Like, there's no more pirate stuff. The plot because we know eventually we're going to get back with the other pirates that they escaped from the starport from, or I assume eventually that'll happen, right?
Yeah.
That we'll run into them again. And I was like, man, we're already back on Attin. But then I was like, okay, maybe some cool Attin stuff will happen where like they'll be taken to the secret bunker and, and then it's kind of like an escape from prison type deal.
Yeah.
So I was kind of bummed. And then we get there and I almost thought that we were going to do like a not Matrix, but a Planet of the Apes type deal where somehow if you go past the barrier on Attin, you go into like the future, like somehow Attin is frozen in time, and that's how they've stayed so safe for so long. And then we pop back in, and it's like a Planet of the Apes thing where
It's a
they
time
come
dilation.
back. And they're actually on Earth, and so I thought that may have been a possibility for a minute, especially whenever like the Apocalypse Children Warriors showed up and like this planet's in crumbles, and I was like, okay, maybe we're doing like a time dilation deal. That'd be kind of neat. I'm down for this. And then that was none of it. I don't know. This episode was a little bit not hard to follow, and some things did happen to further the story. I would say that for the first time in this show, we have gotten a filler episode, which it is halfway through the current season, because there are only 8 episodes, right? That's for sure. Okay.
This is a halfway point.
Yeah. So we are halfway into the show. So this does typically tend to happen.
Yeah.
Whenever you get halfway through a season. So I wasn't mad at it, but it was also, I was hoping for more, because so far this has been a wonderful show. A lot has been going on. Clues have been dropped, plots have been thickened, and then we just kind of got this week's episode.
I disagree with it being a filler, just for the purpose that we got some really good character development for the kids, and it did progress the plot forward. There were, 7 potential planets that they could have ended up on based on the owl lady, I think Kim's, what she found out in the last episode. So they went to one. This wasn't at Attin. But by the end of the episode, it seems like SM-33 knows where Attin is.
Yeah.
So, while yes, maybe not as much happened as I would have liked, it still progressed the story forward, which I think most filler episodes don't. They're just kind of there to say, and this week we're on the beach, and next week we'll find out where Attin is, you know?
That's kind of what happened. Well, you're kind of describing the episode that happened. It was a good week for Tuck to miss. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. For this episode, I actually think it needed to be 2 episodes, because I think the director or the writer really wanted to tell this story of how a little bit of kindness can improve a bad world. And I like that story. I think it's good on paper, but it has to be executed correctly. And I think that this episode just didn't have enough time to do that.
Yeah, there were no real stakes. Like the Troiks, which is one faction on this world, are in a deadlock stalemate battle with the Hattins, I think is their name. And the Troiks are Eope farmers, which I was happy to see Eopes and bring Eopes back. I was like, cool. They don't look like the ones on Tatooine, so there is some speciation in the galaxy, I guess. But I was like, cool, Eopes, because they made a noise, and before the subtitle even popped up to say that, like, Eope noise, I was like, that's an Eope. I know that noise, but that doesn't look like what I know they look like.
Yeah.
And then it said it, and I was like, okay, cool. So we just have some different species. I'm down with that. But back to the main point. Like, I thought this episode was going to be them deadlocked, the kids in a battle with this other tribe, and we were going to, I thought maybe Neil would die at one point, which was, interesting.
Which is your
I was
dream.
hoping. I was hoping.
Yeah.
I was hoping. Because they developed this little, which I liked, this little mini storyline that they had with Neil and the little warrior girl, like Neil's first crush, and like he's starting to notice girls. And I was like, that's cool. I like that, because this is like, I finally listened to y'all's review of episode 2 the other day. And I think it's important to remember that this show is a coming of age story.
Right.
Which I won't beat this horse for too much, because you and Tuck talked about it a lot in episode 2. But I think it's important not to forget that that's what this story is at the base of it, is it's children growing up.
Yeah.
And losing a bit of their innocence while on this adventure in the galaxy and trying to get home, right?
Yeah.
So I did like the Neil getting a little romantic interest in this episode, and I think it would have really furthered his story if he would have died.
Yeah, right? Find love and then die. The perfect story.
Yes. Perfect.
I did like that aspect of it. The whole stalemate battle thing, I think it comes down to exactly what you were just talking about. Is it's a coming of age story. The main crew are children. I think Disney didn't want to fully commit to the child soldier bit. Like, yes, we kind of see it. Technically, this planet has child soldiers, but
they don't do anything.
Yeah. It's all
they don't
off-screen.
do any killing or anything like that. It's implied in the stories there, but I like your point that this should have been a 2-part episode, where the only thing I would add to that would be like the part 1 would be the kids actually in a war with this other tribe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then once they succeed in aiding the Troiks are like, okay, we'll help you get to the information tower.
Yeah.
Or the Fallen Sanctum or whatever it's called, Forbidden Sanctum or whatever.
Yeah, and I think what it really needed is Neil and this girl obviously have very different viewpoints on life and battle and child soldiers, right? I think with a 2-part episode, they could have really challenged each other's philosophy on life. Instead, it's just like Neil does some kind things, and this girl's like, oh, kindness is kind of cool. Which kindness is cool, of course, but she's, grown up, indoctrinated into this world of violence, and people take time to change.
Yeah. Not in a 30-minute Star Wars episode, though.
Right, yeah. No, all they need is 30 minutes in that.
That's it.
I don't know. I think they could have really opened up some interesting conversations, because I do think, like, fighting in the context of this group, yeah, they're fighting to protect themselves and they're fighting to protect each other, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Being locked in a constant state of war, yes, that's bad. Yes, you should find a peaceful route, but for this child, she's just doing what she knows to protect her people.
Yeah.
Anyway, I won't harp on it too long, but it just felt a little rushed. That's my whole point. I thought it was a really interesting plot line that I would have loved for them to let breathe a little more.
Yeah, it would have been nice. I mean, I do like how they go back to the, kind of one of the roots of Star Wars, where it's like, just because the galaxy is at war doesn't mean we should be at war.
Right.
Which is one of the main themes, that even though there's evil out there, which we don't really get to know a lot about the other tribe. Mm-hmm. Her and Neil kind of talk about it, but we don't really get the other side of the story, which I was kind of sad about as well. Yeah. Is that Jod's half of that episode was literally just him showing up being like, yep, I paid him off. That's the end.
Yes. Yeah.
I really want some more, like, if this is a sandwich. Oh man, I was about to say I want some more Jod meat, but
don't we all?
Jude Law's a very good looking man.
No, I completely agree. I was really shocked when he just showed up at the end with the Eopies. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I thought we were gonna get like a little, flashback explanation of him just like murdering the entire opposing tribe. Yeah. With Smee. And I was like, man, this will be cool to find out how he escaped. And he's just like, yeah, I paid him off.
Yeah. Which even a scene, it didn't have to be a whole other episode, but just a scene of that negotiation could have been really cool from a perspective of, this tribe of murderers maybe versus a pirate trying to both get what they want at the end of the day. I think they could have written a really interesting scene for that.
But it's also like, part of that pirate idea of where, yes, pirates fight a lot, but they also look for the easiest way out. And sometimes the easiest way out isn't murdering 30 people. It's just paying some people off and
giving them some dollars. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's on par with the theme of the show. I will excuse that. But if we're 50% of the way through the show and I need more Jod. I need more time with him. I'm hoping we get that. I know you know, and I know you won't tell me. So, I don't know.
So first, before I get into this, I want to make it absolutely clear, and I can't believe we have to say this, and we literally talk about this almost every time there's a child actor. Do not bully child actors. Star Wars community, if you're out there bullying child actors, you are not a real Star Wars fan. That being said, this girl that Neil meets and he develops a crush on, I do feel like her acting was a little weaker than the other child actors in this show.
I think it was the character that they made for her. Because, like, she's doing, like, these tactical roles and stuff just, like, in the middle of her lines. And I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I agree. I 100% think it's more of the writing and directing of her character, less so that this child's acting.
Yeah. I thought she did a good job of portraying the character she was given. I just think some of the stuff that they directed her to do was odd.
Yeah, and I don't think she was really given a lot to work with in terms of the script.
And again, she's playing a 30-minute character that we will most likely never see again.
Right. Or will, in 5 years, be the most important Star Wars character. Who knows?
Right. You remember that tribe girl from Ed Akron? Well, guess what? She's actually a Jedi.
Yeah. She actually restarted the Jedi.
So this is how it worked, right? We make jokes like that, but crazier things have happened in Star Wars.
Yeah.
This doesn't happen off.
That was just my point, is the performance as a whole was not as strong, but I don't necessarily think it's her fault.
Yeah. No, my thing was completely different. I was done with that topic.
Tell me your thing.
No, whenever they're marching to the battle and we see different soldiers, I was looking at the helmets and the masks and everything. Is it just me, or do those helmets look like the Mud Trooper helmets from Solo?
Mm-hmm. It kind of makes me think that maybe either the Empire tried to take this planet and failed, or part of the civilization on this planet are Empire deserters.
Possible. I also thought of another thing today. What if these hidden planets, which you kind of said close to the same thing, but what if these hidden planets are the First Order?
Ooh, that could be interesting.
What's better than for an army that rises from nothing? You know, because that's pretty much all we know about the First Order, is that, like, they just kind of appear, right? Like, out of nowhere, it's just like, all right, the ideas of the Empire are still around, but we're just calling ourselves the First Order now, and we're back, right?
Yeah.
What if this is the seedlings of the First Order? And that's why they are so heavily bankrolled. That's why the planets are hidden. That's why they come from out of nowhere. Snoke comes from, you know, the wild lands of space. What's more wild than hidden planets?
Yeah, for sure. I can see that.
Neil talks about it, that they're taught about Coruscant and Alderaan on Attin. So they have a knowledge of parts of the galaxy. I mean, Alderaan's not around anymore, but...
Which, just to support your point, they don't know about the Death Star and it destroying Alderaan, which is great propaganda. Like, if this was a part of the First Order, of course they wouldn't tell their people that the government they're trying to replicate was out destroying planets.
Or was defeated twice.
Right, yeah.
Kind of a good idea here.
Yeah,
I need Tuck with this tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
Tuck, come back.
Listen, I'm kind of missing Tuck, just being honest.
Man, yeah.
I think my next point is Fern. I really like her breakdown at the end of this episode, because we have to remember these are just kids and they are lost.
Yeah.
They've been captured by pirates. They've almost been killed by pirates. Now they're on this, like, strange planet filled with war. They've almost died. They almost had to go into battle. They don't know what they're doing, and her breakdown here feels so real. because I think this would be tough emotionally for adults to go through, let alone children.
Yeah, it was a really good, like, humanizing moment. I think it was definitely needed to remind everyone, like you said, that these are kids in a galaxy that are lost, that all come from a planet where there doesn't seem to be any, like, poverty. Like, everybody seems well off. Like, Neil's family has, like, 80 kids in it, and they don't live in a shack or anything. Like, they live in a nice home.
Yeah.
You know, they all wear nice clothes. They all go to school. They all look fed and everything. None of them seem to come from a bad place.
Yeah, I agree. It is a very big change for them.
Yeah, and now they're lost in the galaxy. What do you think about Murderer Smee?
Dude, Shmi killed it this episode. That scene where she overrides...
Babysitting scene?
Oh, the babysitting scene, yes.
Oh, sorry, that's where I thought you were going.
No, I was going to talk about that, but saying you brought up Murderous, I was going to do that first. But yeah, let's jump to the start of the episode where he's just like, come on, baby, come on the ship.
Baby,
So
back to the ship.
funny.
Don't make me start the countdown.
I love Shmi so much.
Which begs the question, why does Smee have babysitting protocols?
Right? You brought up, what was it, last week, that he may have been a, like a loading droid?
Yeah, some type of load lifter, dock worker or something.
Based on his build, I don't think he would be a caretaker droid, but who knows? Maybe he just was given the extra programming to be multi-purpose, or maybe the pirates gave him the programming because, I mean, they're pirates. They probably had a baby on board at some point.
Either that or at one time, Smee was a protocol droid from days before and he was taken by the pirates and given those enhancements.
Oh, yeah, that is true. He may not have had all of that. I hadn't considered that.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I love Shmi. That was one of my favorite scenes. And then the murder scene at the end where they override his memory and he just starts saying, rip them apart, was so good. And it was very intense. And I was worried for the children.
I mean, it was so close to having Neil ripped apart limb from limb.
You almost got what you wanted.
I was so close to finally getting something that I wanted, and it was taken from me.
Stupid Jod getting in the way.
That's one strike for Jod. He's got two more, and then he's getting written off as a character.
Yeah, I really liked the camera angle, the close-up of his face as he's, like, walking around saying, rip them apart. I thought that was done very well.
Yeah, no, that scene was good, and I was thinking more about Smee, and I have been, since we talked about him, of what he reminds us of. And with today's episode that we're reviewing, I was reminded of the Rebels episode where they have Chopper Base. It's a little bit after they have Chopper Base where Banthu is, remember?
Oh,
And the spiders.
Yeah.
And the Empire sends out those droids that are like disguised as protocol droids, but really they're assassins and they kind of like transform.
Yeah.
And they're equipped with bombs. The way that those kind of like transform and get bigger kind of reminds me of how Smee like brings himself to his full height and like kind of transforms in a way.
Yeah.
So maybe he's a precursor to that. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, like an old Republic assassin droid.
Some type of infiltration droid, I think.
That would be so smart, though. Like an infiltration droid that is, you know, sold off as like a caretaker droid to like get them in the families of high profile governors or senators. I could see it.
We don't know. It's just a theory.
A Star Wars theory.
Well, I mean, Elijah knows because he's disgusting and filthy and
A little gremlin.
watches ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You guys, you know how much I love Star Wars, and this is new Star Wars.
You just couldn't help yourself.
I know. I'm
You're
sick. I'm weak.
We're sending you to rehab. We just haven't told you.
You'll have to drag me kicking and screaming.
Well, I was going to elaborate. By sending, I mean we're hiring people to come kidnap you from your home. Throw you in a van.
Not till Ahsoka season 2. No.
Huh? You're missing it. You're missing it. See? We have to deprogram you. We have to put in one of the brain rats and, you know, and then you're going to start talking like Smee.
You have to take out multiple brain rats. See, that's my problem. So I have too many brain rats in there.
You're just going to be hobbling around and going, I'm going to go, Elijah, do you want to watch Ahsoka? And you're going to go, can't say I remember anything about no Ahsoka.
Real. How did we feel about the old captain and Shmi killing off his crew?
Yeah, right there in the Fallen Sanctum. I forgot about that part. Which also begs the question, who are all the other dead bodies on the ship?
Well, Shmi said he only killed the ones that saw the coordinates. So any pirates that were still on the ship were probably safe.
Yeah, good point there. I didn't think about that. But then why was the captain killed?
Right.
Did Smee kill the captain? Was that the captain's last order? Once he found the treasure planet, did Smee kill him?
Yeah, why steal the treasure and go spend it when you can just live there forever?
Or was, another Star Wars theory, is the supervisor the pirate?
Ooh. That's a good theory. Or maybe a descendant of the pirate.
Possible.
Yeah.
Who knows? Or part of the crew.
Part of the ship, part of the crew.
That managed to escape from the crash.
I could see it.
I know you know. You dirty, dirty boy.
Oh, yeah. I know. But I ain't telling.
I know you do.
Can't say I remember no supervisor.
Oh, see, there, the deprogramming has already started, folks. We're in there. Now all we need is ropes, black masks, and a van, and we're halfway home.
Exactly. Well, I think that's everything I wanted to talk about with this episode. Did you have anything else?
I'm trying to think of more. I'm sure there are a million more moments that we could talk about, but again, there just wasn't. There was a whole lot going on in this episode, but there wasn't. Yeah. Which makes me sad.
Yeah, I know. Especially with it only being an 8-episode season.
Do we think Skeleton Crew will get a season 2? Not knowing the ending, like some people here do, I can't speculate yet.
I don't know. I really don't.
Even with all your forbidden knowledge?
Even with the forbidden knowledge, I don't know.
See, I have another theory that maybe Elijah is the supervisor.
It was me the whole time. Listen, I don't care how many NDAs they make me sign. Of course, I wouldn't say it on the podcast, but you and Tuck would know. You would know if I made it onto Star Wars.
Would we, though? Would we?
Yeah.
I would never tell.
Disney, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't break my NDA. Disney,
Yes,
it was a joke.
He just said it.
Disney, it was a joke.
That was our one shot, Elijah. That was our one shot, and you blew it. They'll never work with us now.
Hey, never say never.
We're already 160 episodes behind. They know we're not dedicated to the cause.
No.
You can't help yourself. You ingest any Star Wars at once.
Did I say 160 earlier? I only meant we were only supposed to be about 160 total. So we're only 50 episodes behind.
We're 50 episodes behind. They've already crunched the numbers. We don't even know our own stats.
Listen.
Jeez, this place is a mess.
Is a marathon, not a sprint.
This place is a mess.
A couple more years, our back catalog will be big enough. We'll start promoting. We'll start building a huge audience. And then Disney will have to listen to us.
Can't say I remember anything about no Animal Squadron.
Well, audience, thank you so much for listening. We're going to take just a quick break from Skeleton Crew. Next week, we're going to be doing our 2025 Looking Forward episode where we'll discuss what we know is coming out and make our predictions for who we think is going to win the tournament. And then we'll get back to Skeleton Crew after that. If you're listening somewhere where you can leave us a review, that would be awesome. Definitely helps the show out a lot. And if you want to be a part of this conversation, you can email us at animalsquadron@gmail.com. Again, that is animalsquadron@gmail.com. For the Animal Squadron, this has been MotherGoose.
And HouseDog.
Goodbye, everybody!
And that's all I gotta say about that.